Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. How are you guys doing? As I said in the title, I will be explaining why I decided to become a YouTuber, the real reason. And that's actually a review, so yeah, stay tuned. Oh, but you already made a video about that. It's called Introductions, duh. Yeah. But do you think I really care about those things? Because I don't. Just for publicity? Good image? No, jokes aside, I really care about those topics. But what was the moment when I decided, no, I'm going to become a YouTuber today? The moment when I decided to create a YouTube channel was when I just finished the Kreutzer Sonata by Tolstoy. And did I decide to create it because it was my favorite book? No. Did I decide to create it because I want to share with everybody how great it was? No. I decided to create it because I was infuriated by this. This was by far the worst book I ever read in my life. You have no idea how bad it is. And this is a huge statement. It's Tolstoy. Tolstoy is one of the greatest writers of all time. Yeah, I am aware. That's why I was so disappointed. I spent 3 hours looking at myself in the mirror ranting because I was so angry. I decided to read it because, well, as most of you can see, I have a keyboard here. Yeah, I'm a pianist. I play piano. I love piano and I love classical music. I love Beethoven. And for those who are classical music nerds, the Kreutzer Sonata is a sonata by Beethoven dedicated to Kreutzer. The sonata is obviously exquisite and it has a very interesting backstory. Back in 1803, Beethoven was invited to play in a spring concert and he invited George Bridgetower to play as his accompaniment. He was a prodigy compared even to Mozart. The concert was a success and Beethoven decided to dedicate the piece to Bridgetower and wrote on a sheet music, Sonata per un mulatico lunatico. Later, when they were drinking together, Bridgetower said something quite offensive to the woman Beethoven was infatuated with, which made him very angry, obviously, and so he changed the dedicatory to Kreutzer, an even better violinist and the most famous one in Europe at the time. Fun fact, Kreutzer never played the piece, and I was studying Russian literature because I was bored, as you do, right? And I came across it. It's Kreutzer Sonata by Tolstoy. And I thought, I never read a Tolstoy book. This should be my first, and it's not actually a book, it's a novella. Yeah, but details. So yeah, as a fan of music and literature, I obviously begged my parents to buy it for me. And we looked for it everywhere in Montreal and we didn't have it anywhere, like, no. So we obviously ordered it online and it took a while to arrive and all. And when it got here, I was so happy. I finished the book in one sitting because it's quite short, so. But I got so annoyed. I read 10 pages left and said, no, I need to finish. I will finish, maybe it'll get better, then I came back, but more 10 pages, no, it's ridiculous, I can't do this. Yeah, I eventually finished in this whole day, but I kind of regret it. I shouldn't have finished, I shouldn't have bought it, I shouldn't have known of this existence. And now you know. It's worth it to mention briefly the public review. The novella, the Kreutzer Sonata, this beautiful piece of writing, was forbidden by censors in Russia, and Theodore Roosevelt called Tolstoy a sexual moral pervert. Very nice. Lev Nikolaevich Tolstoy was born on 9 September 1828 and died on 7 November 1910. He is regarded one of the greatest authors of all time, and honestly, reading his book made me doubt that. He received several indications to the Nobel Prize in Literature and Nobel Peace Prize. One of his greatest works are Anna Karenina and War and Peace. As I said before, the sonata is a real-life sonata by Beethoven, and Tolstoy was a great fan of music, especially Beethoven, and according to his son Sergei Tolstoy, he never met anyone who loves music more than his father. I won't waste your time anymore, so let's get straight to the point. The Kreutzer Sonata talks about the mutual incomprehension between men and women, in which the inexorable progress does obscure the crystalline lucidity in their language. What? Well, let me break it down to you. What the Tolstoy's protagonist does the whole book is psychoanalyze women. The story commences with a train ride. The narrator eavesdrops on a conversation between a man and a woman concerning marriage. When the woman says that marriage should be based on true love and not arranged, they start to wonder what true love is. And that's where we meet our protagonist, Posnashev, who interrupts them. Now, this book gets creepy right off the bat when Posnashev says that he cold-blooded murdered his wife because she might have been cheating on him. Emphasis on might. And he feels justified by doing so. He thinks he's right. I really care about my values, okay? It's necessary for me to connect to a story on a deeper level. But I thought, wait, that's Tolstoy. I might be able to read this anti-marriage, anti-birth control, abstinent, conservative novella. What I mean is, maybe I am able to focus only on its structure, only in the phrasing, only on the vocab, which is great by the way, and I couldn't. Disclaimer alert, it's not a spoiler that he killed his wife. It's literally on the first pages. It's more of what led him to kill his wife. But I like Crime and Punishment in that manner, which I already reviewed, so go check it out. The main character starts his monologue, solely low-key even because I think it's out loud, talking about how women are oppressed. And I thought, well, maybe it won't be that bad. I mean, you can't get this wrong, right? And then he proceeds to say, because of this oppression, they became bitter creatures whose primal goal is not only to seduce men, but to also destroy them, so women basically revolve around them, and that's pretty much it. But I mentioned briefly, it's a book about abstinence, and how this comes in. Well, according to Tolstoy, men are weak creatures who love sex. Yeah, they just love sex, and it's wrong and sinful, and women love it. But they still need to do it to make up for their wrongdoings in society. Actually, he goes one step ahead and says that all evil deeds men do is because of sex, and they're justified because they are in love with it. But women is a different story. The only remotely thing they can do related to sex and life in general is to have children inside a marriage. Like, what? What did I just read? Well, making a long story short, men should stay away from temptation, women, and sex because they only want to use it for their nefarious little plans. And it gets even more problematic when the author starts involving children. It does that. I think I pretty much summed everything. But what does music and the Kreutzer Sonata have to do with this? And I asked myself this question a lot of times reading it. And in the ending, we realize why it's called, why it's even remotely related to it, why it even matters at all. Our protagonist, our lovely protagonist, thinks his wife is cheating on him, and she's cheating on him with a violinist. It's not confirmed she's cheating on him. And why did they play? The Kreutzer Sonata for piano and violin. Thank you for watching, folks, and that's it. Please like and subscribe. If you have any book requests, please write them down in the comments. Bye!